Hey class, I wanted to bring your attention to another folder that I have posted in our final week folder. That this week's folder, there are subfolders, one of which is called the Final Essay Supplemental Helps. And I wanted to make sure you understood what that is because it's got many different helps that you might want to use for your essay. For example, there is a literary analysis handout in there, actually two of them. Handout 1 and Handout 2, if you'd like to do a little bit more reading on what literary analysis is. But just a quick note on literary analysis. It's what you do every week with your discussion questions. It's what I do every week um, in through a combination of my lectures that I post on the week's authors and readings, and also in my professor's notes, which provide my thoughts on the discussion question forums. So often, I ask you questions that are probing the works themselves, that are asking you to perform literary analyses of the works you're reading. And then when I respond to them, I post my thoughts on what meanings I'm finding through analyzing the works. And of course, you post them when you respond. You post your own interpretations of those works and the meanings you're finding in them when you respond to those discussion questions. So I wanted to demystify literary analysis and make it seem not so scary, because it's not, because you're already doing it every single week. But if you'd like to see more and learn more about literary analysis, there are those two handouts in the Final Essay Supplemental Helps folder. Also, there's thesis statement help for 3.5 academic essays. Now, while you're not required to write a 3.5 essay for your final essay, as I explained in the essay assignment, sometimes students find that format really helpful because it's pretty basic. You come up with 3 thesis points that you include in your thesis statement. And then, you write an introductory paragraph for your essay that you conclude with your thesis statement that lists your 3 thesis points. And then you develop each thesis point in a body paragraph. So you have 3 body paragraphs, one on the first thesis point, the second body paragraph on the second thesis point, and the third body paragraph on the third thesis point. And then you wrap up the essay in a concluding paragraph, which would be the essay's 5th paragraph, hence 3.5. In other words, 3 thesis points in 5 paragraphs. The introductory paragraph for your essay, the 3 body paragraphs that each body paragraph will develop a thesis point. So you get 3 of those body paragraphs, one for each thesis point. And then the 5th paragraph, which is the concluding paragraph. And typically that paragraph will recap those 3 thesis points. In other words, you'll remind the reader, what your thesis statement said, and also remind the reader that you did in fact prove those 3 thesis points in your essay. So that's basically what the 3.5 academic essay format is. Of course, you can always change it up. You could have 4 thesis points, or you could have 3 thesis points and develop them in 2 paragraphs each. So that would be 6 total paragraphs in the body paragraph format, so that it would be 8 paragraphs total with the introductory paragraph, then 2 paragraphs each on 3 thesis points, which would be 6 body paragraphs total, 2 on each thesis point, and then a final 8th paragraph, which would be your concluding paragraph. So that's how you can, kind of take that basic essay format and mix it up a little, or you could do 2 thesis points with maybe 2 paragraphs on each thesis point. So you'd have 4 body paragraphs total. And then you'd add your introductory paragraph and your concluding paragraph. So you could mix it up. That's just a format that allows you to play around with it and make sure you have structure to your essay so that you don't lose track of what you're talking about and lose track of your development of each thesis point. So I even have a document on the 3.5 academic essay format in that Final Essay Supplemental Help folder, in case you'd like to review it more carefully and then kind of figure out ways to play around with it, or extrapolate from it. It's just a good format to be familiar with so that you understand a basic format you can use, and then you can master that basic format and then play with it. Because once you master something, you have freedom and flexibility, but make sure that essay has some sort of underlying structure to its argument, so that it's not just kind of like a stream of consciousness, about the literary work you're analyzing. That's what structure helps us do. It helps us take those thoughts and put them into a format that is understandable by other people outside of your own mind. All right. Also in this final essay supplemental help folder, you will find a literary analysis paper checklist. That might be helpful for you to use and check your own essay to make sure that you've hit main points of a literary analysis, like having a thesis statement, having thesis points, having an introductory paragraph, having a concluding paragraph, having body paragraphs, etc. Then there is material on the 3-step revision process. So that would be helping yourself revise your essay. And this is just, 3 steps to help you do that. Not that that is the only way you can revise your essay. It's just, again, another helpful format, so that you have a place to start when you are revising your essay. There's a revision help sheet, and that you don't have to complete, but if you'd like to complete it on your own essay, you don't need to turn it into me or anything. But it's just another sort of checklist to help you make sure you have gone over some major points. You've read spell check, things like that. You've made sure you have a thesis statement, and your body paragraphs have borne out those thesis points that you proposed, etc. There's some proofreading tips. Again, writing spell check, that's not really revising, but it's more like proofreading. So little tips like that. And if you, for example, tend to write run-on sentences, that would be something to look for when you are proofreading your paper. Did I write run-on sentences? Where you don't put a period where you should, or you don't use like commas and conjunctions and things like that, to link to independent clauses or more together in a single sentence. Or if you tend to write sentence fragments where you don't always have a subject and a verb that can stand on their own in a in a in an independent clause, you may want to read through your essay to look for those. Or another thing to read through your essay for is present tense. Did I write everything in the work that happens in the work in present tense? Did I write that in present tense when I'm describing the action of a particular literary work? Because you always want to write in present tense for the action that occurs in the present time in a literary work. Because every time you read a literary work, you're reading it in the present tense because you live in the present. Therefore, when you talk about it, you want to talk about it in the present tense too, because that's how readers read it. All right, there is material on grading criteria. So, what I look for an A paper, or what I look for a B paper or a C paper, etc. So it's good to be familiar with those criteria. Then and that's it. That's all we have in our, that's about it. I might put the Purdue OWL Online Writing Lab link in there too, so that you can have an easy place to go to for MLA, Modern Language Association format for your essay, what you need to use for your works cited page, and how you format the paper with, your margins and double spacing and having a heading. Those are all components of an essay that you would want to make sure you're adhering to the Modern Language Association or MLA format for an essay. All right, I just wanted to review that material in the final essay supplemental help folder so that you know how to use that material, you know how to regard it. They're not required activities, but they're helps there for you to implement when you are writing your essay if you're looking for more material, to help guide you as you perform your literary analysis as you write it and structure it into an essay, and as you revise your essay and proofread it and make sure your MLA format or Modern Language Association format is correct, especially in your works cited page and in the in essay citations, when you're citing the source for any quotations you use. All right, thanks. Use it as you may. Good luck with everything, and congratulations for getting this far. All right. I look forward to reading your essays. I'm so excited to hear your final thoughts on these works. Well, on one work, because you're going to choose one work to analyze, right? Yes. All right. Thanks and good luck with everything.